What's up, brainy babes, and welcome into my kitchen. I know it's a different area than normal, but today is going to be a little different video than normal. Not that I really have a normal video type yet. We're going to make monkey bread, sandwich bread. We're going to try and make pita bread. We're going to try and make orange juice. Candied orange slices. Join me along with this experimental video of just relaxing and hanging out. This is actually future Britain. I already did all of this stuff last week, so I'm coming to you exhausted. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is Baking with B, baby. So I'm hopping on Pinterest and I'm just gonna print out a bunch of recipes. Also, plug, if you want to follow me on Pinterest, my name is Brenton Peterson. I have self-care activities that I pin. A lot of these are Christianity, because this is my self-care thing. But there is a lot of good stuff in there if you're not a Christian too. That's for just slowing down, slow living, journal prompts, all kinds of stuff in here. So I know the monkey bread, that has the longest time, and it also needs to rise like the longest. So I put that on front. We'll start with that. Also making myself breakfast right now. I'm just gonna heat up some hash browns, and then I have some leftover pancakes, and I'll just have a yogurt, which it's dairy free. It's these, so delicious. So this is monkey bread baked by an introvert, and I will leave a link in the description if you want to go check it out. We're gonna start with a large bowl as well, and we're just gonna put everything in here. 1 1/3 cup of warm whole milk. So this is one of the replacements that I'm using. This is almond milk. 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted in the microwave, 30 seconds, and you wanna cover it as well. 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. I'm using cane. Then you want 2 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast. And you want to whisk this together. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab a separate bowl. If you have a standard mixer with like a dough hook, this is where you could put your flour and stuff in there and combine it. I don't have that, so I'm just using a standard bowl. All right, and then also I'm using Pillsbury bread flour. It says to use just all-purpose flour, so if you have all-purpose flour, that is perfectly fine if you don't have bread flour. And then you're gonna do 1 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Since I don't have the fancy stuff, I'm just gonna go ahead and whisk this together. So we're working with what we got, and it's gonna start forming a dough. We're just gonna do this for a while. You're gonna want it to be smooth and shiny, so I'm about to start using my hand. Lightly dusting the surface with flour, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our dough, which I've been kneading this for a long time, like 15 minutes, and it's pretty smooth. It's not shiny smooth, but it is pretty smooth, so we're just gonna go with it. I feel like it's really mixed through, and it does look a lot better than my last batch. And we're just forming it into a ball. You're supposed to you're supposed to lightly grease the top. I, again, don't have cooking spray, so what I'm gonna do is I'm literally just taking a paper towel or whatever you have, and I'm just gonna, like, lightly dab it. Now we're just gonna cover this and set it aside. So while our dough is rising, we're gonna go ahead and put a cup of unsalted butter in the microwave. A cup of brown sugar, and then you're gonna grab a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I'm again using the cane sugar. 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. So this is gonna be quite a bit. And I'm kind of eyeballing this right now. Like so. Oh, this smells so good, guys. All right, you guys, so it is 11:41 and we have 41 minutes until the bread is supposed to be finished rising. So I just went ahead and set this aside and we're gonna start working on our next recipe. All right, for the bread, we're gonna start out with a cup of hot water, and then we're gonna put 2 teaspoons of yeast in it. Oh, we're supposed to do the 2 tablespoons of sugar too? Shit. All right, and we're supposed to let this sit for 10 minutes. It's kind of getting bubbly at the top, so that's a good sign. That's meaning that it's blooming good. We still have a ways to go. This recipe calls for it to bloom a lot longer than I'm used to. Take a little peeky peek. That's looking pretty good. While that's doubling for 30 more minutes, I'm gonna quick get started on our pita bread. Okay, we're getting really experimental with this recipe. I'm gonna try out some gluten-free. I've seen really good reviews on this brand and it says it's 1-to-1 for baking flour. We will see. We're also trying almond milk with this one because I don't have regular milk, so we'll see how that works out. All right, so first we start out with 1.5 cups of the all-purpose flour, and then I put a teaspoon of the salt, and then a tablespoon of active dry yeast. And then we're gonna put 1/3 of a cup warm milk, and then 1/3 of a cup of warm water in here. So this one's gonna be pretty crumbly. It's just about making sure all of the little stray bits are combined together. So here's what mine is looking like. Now I'm gonna cover it and let it sit in the oven for an hour as well. Also, yes, now I'm wearing an ice pack because my back really hurts. Okay, so now we have our melted butter from before, and then we are going to go ahead and grab our bowl, and we're going to do one at a time, and you just want to douse it in that. All right, so here's how they are looking. They are really looking good. So we're just going to cover this, and then this needs to rise for an hour again. Okay, so our pita bread is first done, so we're gonna work with that really quick. So for our pita bread, we are going to cut this into 6 bits. I've dusted my surface and I've dusted a rolling pin, and we're gonna grab our dough and we're gonna go ahead and roll it out into a flat disc. Now this is a really weird texture that I've never worked with before, so we will see how this turns out. So we're gonna, how big do we make this? I don't know if this is right. I've never made pita bread before, but I'm just gonna go ahead and slice it. So we're supposed to do 6 slices. Cover these with a towel as we're rolling them. Yeah, this is really crumbly. I really am getting kind of discouraged about this, but we will see. Okay, so I've never actually chopped garlic before, so add this into our 1/2 cup of melted butter. All right, so I'm just putting this on a medium heat, and I put a little bit of olive oil. It kind of didn't really spread how I wanted it to, but we're just putting this in here. We're putting it in for like, what does it say, 1 to 2 minutes, or until bubbles form, and then you flip it and cook to 1 to 2 minutes on the other side. So we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try it with this one first, maybe, or no, why don't we'll start small. We'll see how this works. I don't know. All right, I'm kind of scared. I'm not a big fan of pita bread, but I figured if it was garlic, I would like it. But now it looks all weird, I don't know, but let's try it. Cheers. It's kind of like, it tastes like pita bread, but it's definitely not the texture of pita bread, I don't think. The garlic though, you're supposed to use powdered sugar, but I used regular sugar, so we'll see how that works. But it's just 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon on some sliced apples. You're also supposed to have a mandolin, but I just sliced it myself, so we'll see how these work out. For roughly an hour, and then you're supposed to cook it for another hour as well. So those are going to be baking for quite some time, so I just wanted to slap those in there since we don't really have to do anything now. This is pretty thick, but we'll see, I guess. Alright, I'm switching to a spatula to try and get this out a little bit better, maybe. But this isn't big enough. Alright, attempt number 3. Trying this now. It's a little bit bigger, but yeah, so I didn't get that much orange juice, although I got actually more than I thought I was going to after literally massaging the pulp with my hands for like 10 minutes straight and hurting myself even more, but alright, so now these are gonna get washed, just to get any extra like pillies off of them, and then we're gonna dry them again. Just patting them dry. Extra. And they go in the oven at, mine only goes down to 170, so we're gonna do that and see how long it takes for them to dry. Alright, so now we're gonna drain it one more time. Alright, so this is gonna go on medium heat. We're gonna add, I'm gonna do like a 1/2 cup of sugar. We're gonna let that get to a simmer, and then we're gonna put it on low heat and put the orange slices back in there to simmer for like 45 minutes to an hour. take these off of the heat since they're pretty translucent looking. And we're just gonna place them, try and place them across this wire rack. Now it's been about an hour of them cooling, so I'm just dipping them into the sugar that we have right here. All right, you guys, Future Britain again. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you learned something. I hope you can maybe teach me something. If you have suggestions on the pita bread or the stuff that didn't work out, let me know. But I'm gonna have to try the pita recipe again. The candied orange peels, those turned out so good, you guys. Like, you have to try them if you've never tried them before. Yeah, the monkey bread also, I have some left over in the freezer, turned out so good. Bread, I still have some leftover bread of the first one we baked, but I actually made 2 loaves, and the second loaf is so good. 2 main things I'm focusing on right now for cooking goals are, like, I'm really focusing on trying to use all of my food and trying to be really resourceful with my food, and baking from scratch, cooking my favorite stuff from scratch. I also this week off camera was experimenting and I made some of my own granola bars. So if you'd like to see that in a video, or making some of my own favorite snacks at home, let me know. Keep your eyes peeled for other new stuff. And remember, anything's possible if you put your mind to it. Catch you later. Alright, and then these are gonna dry again for like 4 to 6 hours. So I'll probably just leave them here.